Morning, everybody, and welcome to Charlton Live, sponsored by PSF Steel Limited. My name is Louis Mendez. Hope you guys are all good on your Sunday morning. On today's show, we'll be looking back at yesterday's 1-1 draw over at Oxford United. Charlie Kelman rescuing a point for the Addicts with a late penalty kick. Joining me to look back at that game, first up top right, Nathan Muller. How you doing, Nath?
Yeah, not bad. Lovely little place, Oxford, isn't it? Lovely little place.
Yeah, well, you missed the first 15 minutes of the game, which means you missed precisely zero shots. Yeah, crikey. And also, bottom of the screen there is Ben Clegg. How you doing, Ben?
Morning. Good morning, everyone. Yeah, I'm all good. I'm looking forward to talking about an exciting game, and hopefully as a segment about Nathan playing 10-pin bowling. I think might have a bit more excitement talking about that than the game, hopefully.
I feel like there's something I don't know there, which unless you talk about Nathan Muller, which isn't quite as exciting as maybe Nathan Jones is popping up for a round of bowling after yesterday's game, just for some excitement, I guess. But anyway, yeah, we're going to hear from Nathan Jones later. We're going to hear the goals from Charlton TV. We're also going to hear from the goal scorer, Charlie Kelman, who we caught up with after the game as well. We want to hear from you guys. Morning to everyone who's joined us in the chat. All Hell Let Loose says the game was poor, the performance was poor, the result was good. The Cornish pasties were nice, and Charlie Kirk being mentioned was excellent. Yeah, I inadvertently called Charlie Kelman Charlie Kirk on the pod with Rich yesterday, which was a bit weird when I heard that back. But yeah, get in touch like All Hell Let Loose did. You can email us studio@charltonlive.co.uk. You can tweet us at Charlton Live, or you can do what All Hell Let Loose has done, and plenty of the others have done as well, and go into the comment section on YouTube and give us your thoughts on yesterday's thrill-a-minute game. Isaac says, is an hour enough time to cover all the action? I think we'll squeeze it in, Isaac. Don't worry, but we'll see. I mean, it leaves us, still, was it 9-10 points above the relegation zone? We're in a healthy position, Nathan. I'm not, I'm still, the result ended up being the most important thing yesterday because the performance wasn't great. 9 points above the drop zone. Late point. The last thing you wanted to do after the week we've had, which has been a really good week, was to give Oxford a little bit of ground on us, and we haven't done that overall. So, not one that will live long in the memory, but an important point nonetheless.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't Real Madrid versus Man City yesterday by any stretch. But as you say, I think going into game, I think if we did, as long as we didn't lose that game, I know it's quite negative to, in a way, to say that when we're playing Oxford, but Oxford won 3 in a row. They're on a bit of form themselves, and obviously we won on Wednesday. And I said after the game, if we drew on Wednesday and won today, I think we would have all been delighted with that. Well, I would assume so. So in the cold light of day, obviously we take the point. It was a bit of a weird game, really. It was, as you said, there was nothing in there. It was just we found ourselves in a really odd position where the other team let us have the ball. Like we had the lion's share of the possession in the first half and second half, and it was like, right. And then if we're that, we don't really have the team to sort of play against low blocks, because that we're one of those sort of defensive teams anyway. So it's sort of a nullifying game. But as you say, we got the last minute equaliser in the end, which is the main thing. And we go on to next Saturday now against Norwich, who I think they've got other than Millwall, got the best form since Christmas, haven't they? So it's going to be a tricky one. But I think, as you say, with the points on the board now, I think we're in a very healthy position, and I don't want to tempt fate yet, but it'll have to take something catastrophic for us to fall off at this point.
Well, I tempted fate on Thursday's show and said that we are 100% safe now. So fate has been fully tempted. Up to you now, fate, if you want to make us look like mugs, but I think we'll be fine. Let's have a listen back to the goals from Charlton TV yesterday. Brownie was alongside Greg and Tell.
Now Long looks to the cross, and it's too close to Mannion. Oh, the referee's given a penalty. There's a challenge came in from Jones on Lancashire. Lancashire went down, and the referee has given Oxford a penalty out of nothing. We wait to see the replay, but Jones is not arguing with the referee. Was it Ramsey?
I think it's Ramsey.
It is Ramsey, yeah.
Yeah, it is Ramsey, but it doesn't look a lot in that. And we said very, very early on in this game, they're in the referee's ear, and they've been in it from the first 20 seconds of this game, Lancashire in particular. And it seems to have paid dividends.
Brannigan steps up and beats Mannion. It dives to his right. And Oxford had the lead after 55 minutes here at Kassam Stadium.
Well, that's going to change things, and you might see a lot of activity on the sidelines and a substitution or two. It's okay. I did say it as we come out second half. It's okay why it's 0-0, and they haven't really posed a threat whatsoever, Oxford United. But now they've punched themselves in front with that penalty, low and hard down to Mannion's right. Confident strike from Brannigan. That changes the entire aspect of the game.
Ibrahim Fuller though for Charlton sends it back in towards the edge of the penalty area. Jones trying to get. Oh, that's a pull. Has to be a penalty. Yes, it is. Clear pull on Lloyd Jones's shirt. Dragged him to the floor. And when it looked like Kelman was just comfortably going to claim it, Charlton have a penalty.
Yeah, the old classic lump in. Deep into the game, trying to manufacture something in desperation almost. Cumming looked like he had that covered. I have no idea what their defender's thinking. It's just brain dead in the situation that Oxford find themselves in.
Charlie Kelman, the penalty taker for Charlton. Steps forward, drills it to the right of Cumming. Not the most convincing necessarily penalty he's ever going to take, but it didn't need to be. It was beyond Cumming's right hand, and Charlton have the equaliser. And the away fans in front of us, delirious at that.
Yep, and I think that is, and I could be mistaken, our first attempt on target, and it's resulted in the equaliser.
Yeah, only needed one attempt on target to score a goal. That's how efficient we've been recently, Ben. But it was a terrible game of football, a poor performance from us. Nathan Jones very frustrated afterwards, which we will hear. But, I mean, that was a big, big moment for us. I think, like I say, you don't want Oxford to gain any ground on you. I think we'll be fine. I think there's way too much that has to happen between now and the end of the season for us to go down. But we don't want any of that to happen. So letting Oxford win yesterday would have been a bad start to my prediction that we were fully safe. So that was a big moment for us, and a good penalty from Charlie Kirk into the bottom corner. I've said it again, Charlie Kelman.
I thought you were joking there.
No, I weren't even. Oh, I'm going to have to write this geezer's name down.
Yeah, massive moment. And he took the penalty really well, similar to their penalty, didn't he? Really. Yeah, we can't afford to just slip up and give other teams 3 points around us, especially a team on good form. Because as much as we've got a good, healthy points gap between them, you never know what happens in football. It swings and roundabouts, right? A team with momentum. Suddenly Preston were up by the playoffs, and now they're looking over their shoulder a little bit because they've been on a terrible run. You just don't know. But yeah, it was a poor game yesterday, a very poor game. One where they sat back and said, come on at us, Charlton, and we didn't really take advantage of that, to be honest. TC, as I'm sure we're going on to talk about, usually an outlet for us, dragging us forward, made some bad decisions yesterday. Our corners were poor. We didn't beat the first man. Yeah, apart from Doc, I thought Doc was having a great game. He was all over the pitch yesterday. Give me the ball, I'll run down the wing, try and create some stuff. But it was, a very dull game, a very dull affair. Not much to talk about from it. I'd say we did well defensively. I mean, they've scored a few goals lately. They're very good from set pieces. The Preston game, I watched them. And two of their big centre-backs, Brown and Hellick, scored in that game. They didn't really have a sniff yesterday. We defended that well. We've got to look at the positives there. It's another game where we've defended well. They scored from a penalty, which was a debatable penalty, but definitely wasn't. But again, it's another game where we just didn't create much, did we? We didn't create many chances, and I'm sure we'll go on to talk with Jones about his interview afterwards, how frustrating that was for him. But yeah, something in there was telling me that we were going to come away with something. I didn't expect it to be their guy being an absolute plonker and pulling Jones down when there was no need. But I just felt like this team have come back a lot lately from games and just have a moment in them, like the West Brom game, really, where we were poor, but we managed to sneak something. And yeah, thankfully, Charlie, very cool yesterday of his penalty, and we come out of it now with that points gap, stopping another team around us, gaining. And it's been a very good week, or an outstanding week, as Nathan Jones would call it.
Yeah, no, it was. It has been an outstanding week. It certainly wasn't an outstanding performance yesterday, but as Ben said, I think just the last literally 5 minutes or so, you could just feel Oxford getting deeper and deeper, and the ball causing a little bit of chaos when it went into the box. So you just hope there would be that one moment. What on earth Kieran Brown was thinking, grabbing Lloyd Jones like that? Because as the ball's looped up by Fuller, I think Jones is going to challenge for it with Cumming, the goalkeeper. But you know how these things work. The second that Jones and the keeper are both in the air, and Jones leans in on Cumming to try and win the header, it's going to be a free kick for the goalkeeper. So why on earth the defender Kieran Brown thought it was a good idea to haul down Lloyd Jones? It was so obvious. I mean, you could hear Terry saw it immediately. We could all see it from where we were. I'm sure you guys in the away end could see it as well, Nath. It was such a clear one. And why on earth he's done that? I mean, you'd be fuming. You'd be fuming if someone did that in our side.
Yeah, exactly. And as you say, I felt like Brown and I thought their defence done really well. To be fair, they dealt with a lot of direct balls, with Miles up there and the balls over the top. I thought they defended really well. So yeah, to concede that penalty late on just on a pull, which we was looking straight at from where we were sitting. It was an obvious one, but I don't know if he sort of Jones has just slipped him slightly, but it's just desperation. And I mean, it's a whole different picture for Oxford if they keep and hold on to those 3 points. 4 wins in 4. I think they might have gone out the bottom 3. I'm not sure, but yeah, silly really. But then again, our one was a bit silly as well. I mean, some people were. It was a bit soft, but I suppose if it was the other way around, we'd all be claiming for it. I think, but I don't know. It's another of those games, isn't it? I mean, Ben touched on it earlier in terms of Oxford let us play, but we're a team that play our game plan is fine margins. And yesterday, at the point, going into injury time, we fell short of that fine margin this time around, but we got another one in our favour, so we had to take it. But yeah, it was. I thought both teams defended pretty okay, which the stats sort of show really. But it wasn't one for the purist.
Yeah, I mean their penalty, Ben. So it's across from the right hand side, and Lancashire's made a run across Ramsey. When I've watched it back a few times, because I did wonder if Ramsey's lent in with his arm, but when I've watched it back, it doesn't really feel like he's massively lent in. It's obviously the way Lancashire's gone to try and buy the decision from the referee, and the referee's obviously felt he's seen enough. But having watched it back, I do feel like we're a little bit hard done by on that one. I mean, it's nowhere near as clear as the Kieran Brown one. We'll put it that way.
Yeah, as Brownie said there in commentary, it was coming from them, wasn't it? I mean, straight, 30 seconds in, you had Lancashire and Donnelly just rolling on the floor every few seconds, waiting for contact. Brannigan did it a few times during the game. It's obviously a tactic of theirs to try and nullify us and just slow the game down. And as I said earlier, they're good from set pieces. Brown and Hellick are real danger men in those positions that can really threaten us. And yeah, yesterday we did well to stop that. But I think Mark wrote in the comments earlier, I looked at Lloyd's reaction and he was really annoyed with Kane. If you look when the penalty's given, Kane's off the pitch. So hence why the confusion on the commentary, they're like, hang on, who fouled there? And then Kane's off the pitch holding his ankle. I looked at Lloyd and he was really annoyed with Kane. I think Lloyd's first reaction was, why did you do that for? You've given him an opportunity to fall over. So, and I looked at the lino, to be fair, and the lino didn't give anything. And I thought he's surely in the best position there. I didn't see the ref's position properly, but I think he might have had a few players in between him, whereas the lino surely is online. He definitely didn't give it. But it's one of them, I think, if Kane's given him the opportunity to a player that is banking on any opportunity, any slight touch to go over, he's taken it because he wasn't getting much joy before that. I know he had a chance just after they scored the penalty, but yes, I mean, Kane can be a bit clumsy, can't he? I wasn't as annoyed as Nathan is in his interview after the game about it because you just saw it coming. You just think, don't give him that opportunity. But yeah, he's taken it well. Brannigan, we know he's a good player. He's probably their main talisman, captain. Frustrating, but it allowed us to make that substitution, bringing Charlie straight on and taking Kane off. I don't know if there was a debate whether he was injured or not after that, but fair play to Nathan for mixing it up straight away. But it did take us a long time to actually get into the game after that.
Yeah, I think the only time I really felt like we were threatening was literally the last 5 minutes or so, and like I say, that's when they started sitting deep, as you do. It's a natural thing; you can't help yourself. But that's when we were finally getting more sort of entries into the penalty box, and it felt like something might happen. Keith says they were both needless penalties. Ramsey didn't need to challenge, and neither did their defender. Dave said it was a dive for their one. Mark said for our one, we're right in line with it. The ball looked like it was going to land in the keeper's hands with no issues. It was a mindless foul. Yeah, Norm says just like the West Brom game, poor performance, but we got a point again. I mean, that first half was genuinely one of the worst I've ever seen, Nate. There was one shot on goal, which was the free kick that they had that went over the bar from Jamie Donnelly. It was so bad. We didn't have a single shot on or off target. We were in the press room at half time. And Lee Carsley was there. You know, he's literally managed England in the last 12 months, and he must be thinking, "Oh, blimey, what have I done to deserve this?" Watching this rubbish. But the second half, like they got their goal, and they had the one cleared off the line as well from Lloyd Jones. But even then, there weren't masses and masses of chances. Like I say, until we got our penalty late on, we made a couple of changes, like the likes of Rankin, Costello, and Fuller coming on. Fev came on for Coventry. Obviously, Kelman had come on for Ramsey right after the goal as well. So we in the end we got there for a point, but there will be concerns about that level of performance in the first 75 minutes, if that's not being too generous. Like it may be 80 minutes. Like as you said, Nate, when that team when Oxford sort of sat back and allowed us to play, we did not have an answer for that. And, you know, TC, Lieburn, the midfielders going forward, other than maybe Doc, who tried a bit, none of them were able to get us into that game. And that was a concern. And Nathan was really quite scathing with that performance after the game.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I mean, you look at it and I thought we set up not to lose, which I kind of get. And even though Oxford have been on a bit of a run of form, we've still got to remember they are where they are in the league for a reason. And I just thought after the win on Tuesday, I just thought we'd probably have a little bit more of a freedom, so to speak, in terms of yesterday and how we played. But we seem to not really offer much. And as you say, when Oxford's sit off, you look at our midfield three, and we've not really, like we've said all season, we've not really got that creative, someone who could pick a ball out of nothing, which it'd be coming on, obviously, put the ball in for a penalty, but we don't really have the players to play that way with all that expansive football freedom. It's not like we're going to play like Man City overnight. Of course, we're not going to happen. That's not going to happen. But if someone gives us the ball, we need players in there to go, right, okay, if you're going to sit off, this is how we're going to run the show. And it was more of a, from the defence to Coventry with the clip over the, you know, the cross, the diags and all that, which works sometimes. But I think sometimes I don't think we've got the right calibre of player to play that really expressive and expansive football. So it didn't surprise me in a way, but all season I've known that, and all season I've known, you know, it's just about getting on the right side of the fine margins and then hopefully getting enough points tallied up so we can stay up in this league, which I think we've done. And that's something I said last week. Once we're mathematically safe, who knows, maybe Nathan will be a little bit more expansive, might go to a 4-3-3. You never know. He may not, but he's got a prime opportunity to do it if that's the case.
Yeah, Addick and Chip says, after planning my Saturday after around watching the game on TV, I was rethinking life choices for most of it. In the cold light of day, though, a point remains a good one. And I was thinking at half time, like Sky are going to want their money back. Like however much they paid for the rights for that game, they'd be asking for a refund. It was such a bad game of football. Sai says, morning, all not the best of games yesterday, but a great day with great people in the sunshine. And we have taken 7 points from the last 3 games. It's a huge yes from me. Absolutely. I mean, it's a good return. You know, there's no denying that. It's very, very important that we were able to do that. I mean, the sunshine was quite funny. I think so. Someone put on in the chat earlier, I've just lost it, but asking if anyone else is nursing sunburn from the away end. And look, when I was sat in the press box, we had like the wall behind us, so we were in the shade. I was looking at the front few rows of that away end, thinking if I was in there, I would have melted by now. It would have been a bit like Stockport away last season, which is way too much. Yeah, Ethan says we were poor, but it's a tough week, long journey. He's got to give them some credit. And Mark, this is yesterday highlighted how poor we are on the ball. 63% of possession in the first half and not one shot. It's no secret, and Jones has found a way around it, but we need some quality during the summer. I think it was quite telling that when we brought on a midfielder who can actually play football with the ball at his feet and look a bit intricate, then that was the first time we started getting up the pitch with purpose when Rankin Casello came on. He only had a few touches. I'm not sitting here and saying he came on and massively changed the game, but there was just a few elements of it, Ben, that was quite clear when he came on. So, yeah, that's certainly something that we're going to have to think about in the summer. Chris says he felt that Fuller and Fev were both the threat when they came on as well. Robert saying, why have we not given Fuller more time? I mean, Mark's been calling in for it on the show, hasn't he, all season, to see a bit more Fuller. And I do hope now that we're in this sort of element of the season where we're actually going to be safe, then it'll be a good time to bring them in a bit more. Charlie says Fuller and Goff to feature more when we're truly safe. Big summer for us, though, with buying and selling to push on for next season. I think one of the biggest talking points when I was looking at social media after the game, as he always is, but Tyrese Campbell, had a poor game yesterday, and he's gone from at times this season being really involved and getting us up the pitch, but not having that final end product, to all of a sudden he's regressed in the last couple of weeks for me. I know there's been frustration with him all season that he's not had that end product, but I have seen a difference in his performances where they've got worse over the last couple of weeks, where he's literally really feels like he's not doing anything. His decision making looks a bit all over the place at the moment. I feel like he probably needs a run on the bench at this moment in time, because his confidence looks really low now at this moment in time, Ben.
Yeah, I think the games we've had recently, I think I've said it over the last few weeks, the position he's in, you need a Charlie Kelman, a Matty Godden to be in the area, in the box, expecting the keeper to drop it, expecting someone to stick it on and you be there like Kelman did for the throw against Birmingham, and he's not that kind of player. So we'll get highlighted that he's not good enough, because that's not him. He's not a striker that's going to poach a goal, be in and around it. He's someone that likes the ball probably just over the halfway line. Give me the ball with a bit of space, one-on-one with the defender. I'll either take it down the line or I'll cut inside and have a shot. And that's when you see the best of TC. I thought the Wrexham first half, he was good. He created a few chances. He created, obviously, that big chance for Berry, and he looked lively there. But then since then, you're right, his performances haven't been good enough. I mean, yesterday, I think where he stands out for me is that once he gets the ball, he's not very quick at deciding what he wants to do. And when you're a winger / striker, attacker that is trying to take us forward, it's the worst thing you can do, surely. I mean, you then get doubled up. I mean, there was one opportunity yesterday, he took too long and then he went to shoot, and it was just so predictable what he was going to do. And he shot it straight at the guy in front of him, because it was like, how did you expect to get anything from that? I think you think back to last season when he was playing better towards, I'd say, Feb, March was when he came on a bit last season, and we had the threat of Thierry one side and him the other. And I think it kind of balanced out well, because Thierry, I mean, as we know, didn't have an end product, but he was so determined of what he wanted to do with the ball, and that's what scared defenders. I think as soon as he got the ball, it was like one ball in front of him, and he would just run fast at the defender, and they get scared. They get scared of that. And I think with TC, they're not scared. He's just quite predictable over the last few weeks. It's like you kind of know what he's going to do. There's no purpose or determination to what he wants to do. I can see excuses for him in a way that we've chop and change with Dykes there, Liban there. So he's not really able to strike up a partnership, and maybe that's his grievance. But yeah, I think for me, it's just a bit slow, a bit predictable. And maybe that came with Nathan's interview yesterday. He wanted more like us turning them around and a bit of pace and power at them. And just a bit, it's not coming from him like that. And look, he is going to get a lot of attention, because out of our team, as Nate said earlier, he's the only one really you look at that you kind of give me the ball, you do something for us. He's one of the only players that we ask that of. And if he doesn't do it, it gets highlighted more than others.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I mean, look, he is our only, other than maybe Ibby when he's going to get more game time, he's our only one who you feel like should be able to conjure up something out of nothing, and he has done at times this season without that full final end product enough. But yeah, when it's not happening for him, it's really highlighted. I mean, James says he had a poor game, but so did all of him. Let's not scapegoat him. But at the same time, I guess when your role in the side is to be that spark when we're having a bad game, and it's quite clear that he's had a couple of bad weeks now. I think it was poor. You know, he had some dodgy touches when he came on against Middlesbrough as well. I think there was another game recently where he didn't look that great when he came on. It's just, yeah, it certainly gets highlighted. Mark says it's because he's playing inverted. He looks to cut in every time, and the double up kills that. Cutting inside and shooting in League One is fine, but much harder to do in the Championship. Addict says Tyrese really worries me at the moment. What's going on with him? I took a neutral pal to the Valley last week who hadn't seen him play before, and he was gobsmacked at how ineffective he is, and that has been his last couple of weeks, unfortunately. I'm still not having the lazy shouts. He still does a lot of running, and I think his body language sort of conjures up an image that maybe doesn't quite match with the amount of running that he does. Because there was one moment yesterday though when he just didn't close down someone just inside their half. It was really weird. It's like, why did you not do that? But Addick and Chip says he made the wrong choice every time he got the ball. If we're only going to create one or two chances all game, then I'd like to see Kelman on the pitch from the start. I mean, Nath yesterday, like James said, we're highlighting one player who got a lot of attention on social media yesterday when they all didn't play that well. But he is a player that, as Ben said, his job is to be our spark, and when he's not there, then we ain't got many other options, really, have we?
No, we haven't. And you know, I hear it a lot, and I get the frustrations. And you know, he's just because he comes from the youth academy doesn't mean he can't be criticised for his performances. And some of the performances haven't been up to scratch, but a lot of performances from a lot of other players haven't been either. But I think the frustration, a lot of it comes is because everyone wants him to do well. You know, he's one of our own. Everyone really wants him to, and everyone knows what he's capable of. It's just that inconsistency. And I think with TC, he's probably one of the, well, I don't know the kid, but he looks like one of the most unconfident wingers I've ever seen. Usually wingers usually have a bit of swag, a bit of arrogance, a bit of substance about them. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, it seems like it's a cycle where he gets criticised a lot, and it might, his head might drop, and then we try and pick him up again, and he'll have a good game, and then he'll drop again. And he's the epitome of a confidence player. It's like, a manager constantly saying how great he is, trying to get him going, and that's just the way he is. But I think sometimes it's hard because he is our flair player, the only one with real raw pace. We expect him to do something every single time he gets the ball. So, it's not, remember like Ricky Holmes, when every time he got the ball, he seemed to do something every single time. So I do feel for him. But yeah, he wasn't good yesterday. But as someone already said, a load of players weren't. And I'm up for criticising all players because that's what we're here for, and obviously praise them when they do very well. But yeah, I mean, it's a difficult one because it's like we're still. How long do you leave it to go, right? He's still young. He's playing a new position. I'll still back him a little bit because he has played predominantly a large part of the season at left wing back. But yeah, I still think he's more of an impact player than a starter. I think we should still be starting Kelman +1, which will probably be Dykes if he was fit.
Yeah, but then you only have to go back a few weeks, and even Charlie said himself he wasn't playing at his best. So, and Nathan said, I think it was the Birmingham game where Charlie Kirk obviously came on and scored. Nathan said that he was close to starting, but he feels that Tyrese Campbell brings something a bit different. He's on paper, he's pacier, he's got more chance to stretch the side, and he is pretty much the only one that would do that for us. But when he's not doing it, it's quite obvious. I think it's sort of blaringly obvious that he's struggling, because when he can't do that, then the side can't do it pretty much overall, and that was very clear yesterday in large spells of the game. Right, let's hear from Nathan Jones. So Nathan didn't do a club interview yesterday because he spoke to me and then he did his press conference. But by the time it was time to go and do the club interview, he wasn't well yesterday. Lyndon Dykes obviously came off ill as well in the warm up, which ended up with Miles Leeburn starting. So that's why Nathan didn't speak to the club, but he did speak to me, and this is what he had to say. Important point to round off a really good week.
Nah, I mean, it's been an outstanding week. I mean, 7 points from the week has been truly, truly outstanding. Today's performance was everything I didn't want. because we said they sit in, they don't press you, they sit in, and then they've done West Brom and Blackburn here because it's obligatory apparently in the Championship that you have to be a nice passive footballing team. So I didn't want us to do that, and for about 70 odd minutes we were a passive, typical bang average Championship team. Then as soon as we started playing with any tempo and putting it on them and turning them and stretching them and going up against them, then we could have scored 2 or 3, and we finally got the thing. So I'm pleased we got the point, but they have to listen. They have to listen to what we say, the game plan. And if they do that, we win the game today.
Well, why do you think it was so slow at the start then?
Because they want to do their own thing. They want to do their own thing. And look, I'm angry now because that should be us done now. That should be us done. 50 points, bang, done. But let's give them. No, they're credit. Matt's done a brilliant job here. There's 10 points they've had in the last 4 games. But they do what they do. They sit off you. They allow you to play and then they hit you on the counter or rely on a really poor refereeing decision, which they got today. And that's what they do, and we played into that.
I was going to ask about the decision given against Kane Rams. I've looked back at it. It feels quite soft. What's your view?
It's poor. They were having a few little free kicks, few little things. The crowd were getting up. They were appealing for everything, and then suddenly a gift arrives. I thought it was Christmas.
But yeah, Charlton's penalty looked quite clear cut.
Well. He had him around the neck, he had him around the shirt, he pulled him over. It's as clear cut as you like to think, but that should have been the winning goal.
It was a great penalty there from Charlie Kelman right in the corner because the keeper's gone the right way.
Yeah, I don't watch him.
As I said, the point off the back of Wednesday and off the back of the win last weekend as well. I mean, I still feel like you're very, very close to where you need to be, but you feel it could have been done today. But it is a very, very good week.
It's been an outstanding week. If someone had said to me, you're going to take 7 points for the next 3 games, I absolutely categorically would have taken it. I wouldn't have argued. I would not have argued. But look, I'm disappointed today because of the level of performance, because what we did. But as you said, for 2 away games, take 4 points from them. We won our home game. So look, yeah.
Did the travel play a part in it? It didn't come back till Thursday.
No. We had great. The club were magnificent, in terms of preparing for us, preparing us for that. Went up on the train, came back on the train, we stayed an extra night, cost us a fortune, but praise the Lord, the club backed us in terms of that. And then, I don't think it did. The level, what affected us today is they didn't listen. They didn't stick to a game plan. They were an easy Aussie Championship side, which is something. I've never been accused of being an easy Aussie Championship side. And as soon as we started to try and look like that, then we would have come unstuck.
You lost Lyndon in the warm-up. Is it illness, is that right?
Yeah, it was illness, which again disrupted us because he's a really big focal point for us in terms of everything. So yeah, that's a tough one. But look, we showed we can still compete. We come away from home. These have won the last 2 home games they played, and look, we battled for a point. But am I happy with the performance? No.
Just away from today, obviously we've seen the news coming out of Colchester with Mbick. I mean, that seems like really, really bad news for him. Is there anything you can tell us about how he is at the moment?
Well, no. Look, he's had a bad, serious injury. Wasn't a good tackle. He's had serious injury. It's not as bad as we first thought, which is a positive. So we're disappointed, but look, it's really disappointing for the boy more than anything. But he'll be fine. He's young. He'll come back. He's got the summer as well to get on, and then hopefully, God willing, he'll be back not far off pre-season.
I was going to say, if he's back pre-season, then that's probably better than some of the reports that were
absolutely. So, and that's what we're targeting.
PSF Steel Limited is a trade supplier of steel fabrication and erection services to the new build, construction and refurbishment market in southern England. With their unrivaled depth of experience, they excel at providing their customers with high quality and cost-effective steel fabrication solutions. Their customers include national and regional house builders, such as Barratt Homes, Bellway Homes, the Vistry Group and Taylor Wimpey. They pride themselves on their service-based ethos and commitment to customer service excellence, which includes full technical backup and on-site services and support. If you would like more information, go to www.psfsteel.co.uk. That's www.psfsteel.co.uk.
Hello fellow addicts, I'm so excited to tell you all about our micropub, the River Ale House. The River Ale House is based in East Greenwich. It has 6 Pub of the Year awards, an ever-changing selection of amazing beer. It's owned by Charlton fans, walkable to the ground in just 20 minutes with buses that go direct to the Valley too. If your matchday routine includes a drink with your friends, you must join your fellow addicts in the River. See you soon.
Well, welcome back to Charlton Live on your Sunday morning. Hope you guys are enjoying the show. Just before the adverts there, we heard from the Charlton Athletic manager, Nathan Jones. I beeped a little nearly swear word just because I think if he'd gone out on BBC, they cut it out, basically. He didn't actually fully go for it, but he leant into it and then managed to stop himself. But yeah, you see what Charlie Kelman does later on. I nearly said Kirk again there. See what Charlie Kelman does later on, and you'll see that it's not the worst thing that happened yesterday. But we do have a really good interview with Charlie, which I'm looking forward to playing a bit later. Sue said he sounded angry. People. He wasn't massively happy. Was he, Nathan?
No, he didn't sound thrilled. But probably coupled that he was probably feeling under the weather didn't help. But I think it was an honest interview, to be fair. I think it was interesting, like what he said about where we touched on that. We had a lot of the ball. We were very passive, just sort of going side to side into Coventry, to Dock, back again, or the Diag and stuff. So I thought it was good value. He always is good value, really, isn't he? Win, lose or draw. I did actually think he swore, so I was going to ask you what he actually said, but quite disappointed he didn't really. Because like, imagine swearing when you just drawn 1-1 with Oxford. I thought it'd be like if you lose like 5-0 at home to Oxford, but he sounded angry, but I think he's still setting the standards, even though, like he said, we could have gone to 50 points. And mentally, once you hit that 50-point mark, it just takes a lot of the pressure off. So yeah, it doesn't surprise me, but hopefully he gets better for next week. But he's still going to be on form because he always is, isn't he?
Yeah, no, an outstanding week, Ben. I said it was a very good week, but it has been an outstanding week. I didn't say solid this time, even though I had plenty of people tweeting me at full time saying I dare you to tell Nathan it's been a solid week. Considering the mood he was in yesterday, I think he would have taken my head off, really, wouldn't it? But it has been a great week. That was my sort of takeaway. At half time yesterday, I was speaking to Stubbers in the press room, and I said, like, if we get another 45 minutes of what we just had and we get out of here with a 0-0, then fine. That's fine enough for me. Let's just get out of here with a point. And obviously didn't quite work out that way, but we did get the point. We did make it 7 points from the week. A fantastic week in terms of, you beat a difficult side at home in Birmingham, and then obviously you go to Middlesbrough and win that game, which no one saw us winning at all. It means that the point against Oxford is fine, and especially not losing to Oxford is fine. So it has been a very, very good week. And as Nathan said, you would have accepted that at the start of the week.
Oh, massively, yeah. And I think that's why you hear players that we've interviewed and come out and said that we just take every game at a time rather than looking ahead. Because if we take every game individually, like the Birmingham game was obviously a big lift. We played well. As we played really well against Wrexham, but didn't get a result. I think we played similar against Birmingham, got the result at home. That felt big. We kind of then, because going into a massive away game, and then you take that individually and go, oh, do you know what? Middlesbrough have suffered a bit at home. They've struggled to beat sides. Again, yesterday, they drew. And we've gone there and amazingly nicked a win. And then it kind of, as Nath alluded to earlier, did kind of take the pressure off yesterday for us. You think hopefully the players, that will make them come out their shell a little bit more. But as Nathan Jones alluded to, they didn't. And he was very annoyed about that. But I think at the start of the week, we pinpointed that game and gone, that's good. That's our massive game against Oxford. And then it, as you said, at halftime yesterday, you're thinking, let's just get a point. That'll do. We stop them winning and we get 7 points from it. And it's brilliant. And yeah, especially coming back after a real tough performance against Middlesbrough. I mean, when you have 22% possession in a game compared to yesterday, we had 68% possession in a game. It will bring tiredness, especially I think I was looking at Dock and Coventry yesterday because the amount of ground they made up on Wednesday, it was two of the best performances I've seen them give on Wednesday. I thought you were going to see them getting tired yesterday. And that will be a factor. With the 12:30 kickoff as well. So yeah, mightily pleased with them. Can look back on this week really proud. Can look back on this week, and I'd say a real defining week now for our season. Probably the biggest week we've had with those 7 points because it's crunch time now, isn't it? And with Leicester losing yesterday and Oxford have got to go Southampton next week, it's you do look now at the next few games and think after that we should be mathematically safe. But if we didn't have this week, if we would have picked up 4 points instead of 7, that could have been us looking over our shoulder a little bit more. It really could have. But they've pulled it out of the bag and can kind of have now a full week on the training ground, get a few players back and look forward to that Norwich game.
Yeah, I mean, James pointed out that we've got all 3 of the games we've played so far since we did that predicted spreadsheet of we've got the results wrong. We're 3 points ahead of where we said we would be. We thought maybe we'd get 4 points out of those games. And we've got 7. And remember, when we did that was sort of trying to be a bit negative, but also to show that even if we have like a fairly average end to the season, all the sides below us will have to go above and beyond what they've done. And, West Brom got a really important win yesterday, but Leicester had a really poor home defeat. So it highlights that, you know what, maybe even 1 or 2 of these sides will have an amazing end to the season and finish above us, but there's no way that all of them are going to do it. It's just not going to be the case. So we really are going to be absolutely fine. Like, you really don't. I mean, Spam says it's going to be closer than we hope. Maybe it will be, but I think it would just take something utterly remarkable for us to go down now, which is good. Dean says Nathan tells it how it is rather than giving the scripted interview that most do, which, I think it is quite refreshing, really, isn't it, when you think about some of the managers you get. Although there was some pretty funny stuff yesterday in the Chelsea press conference, to be fair, after the group hug with the referee, with Henry Senior saying that the Chelsea players were just respecting the ball before the game, which going well there, I see. Lovely stuff. Right, the couple of tweets. Anthony said the Oxford players were throwing themselves to the floor from the first minute looking for decisions. They got a big one with the penalty. The midfield looked leggy yesterday. No wonder after Wednesday night they needed freshening up. Kane let the attacker get goal side of him before he went down. Didn't think it was a penalty. Though there's some interesting comments in the chat. So people are sort of talking about next season and looking ahead. So, Mark says the end of season table doesn't show photos or video clips. The poor performances won't matter come 4 p.m. on the 2nd when we're already safe. But Andrew said, but Mark, will you buy a season ticket? I'm finding it hard to contemplate even at OAP prices. I mean, Sam said he's already renewed his. I think some people have already. They're out and I think they said they're quite a good take up on the first day compared to last year. But obviously that's just day one. But does the style of football put people off, Nave? Do you think it will put people off? Like, I mean, we had 5 years of League One crap, really, and I find being in the Championship very refreshing. And I'm not a massive style merchant anyway. I'm a win merchant. As long as we're getting enough points to actually make it enjoyable, and we're winning games here and there, and we're staying up in the Championship, and we're booking another season. Like I would personally still want to stay, but I mean, does it put any? I mean, it looks like maybe it's putting Andrew off a little bit. But are there people that would be put off by the style? I think the biggest thing for me is playing Championship football and getting results no matter how we get them.
Yeah, and it's also courses, isn't it? I suppose you can have some people that will want to go there and be entertained. And in my opinion, I think next season we're not going to go from a solid foundation to where what's got us in this position to then all of a sudden playing tippy-tappy football like Barcelona overnight. I don't think that's going to happen. Can we improve in terms of our creative and expressing ourselves a little bit more? Yeah, I think we can, and I think that will probably be the plan to do so. But it all depends what you want, really. So, I mean, I'm like you. I'm probably a little bit older than you, not much. But call me a dinosaur if you want. But I'm the same. It's like I'd rather win games than. We tried the whole tippy-tappy when Bengana came in. We tried all that, tried going down that route of getting Jojo Wallacott to play out from the back, and it was a bit boring. I'd rather be aggressive, front foot, try and win a game. And then obviously another reason I come to travel is a social experience as well. See a lot of people that I don't, work with or live locally. So it's a social thing for me as well. So it's each to their own, but I'm not expecting us to change playing style overnight, but I think we might be a little bit more expansive, hopefully, next season. But
yeah, I mean, Nathan's spoken a lot about how the style will evolve. So, I mean, you might just want to be of part of that ride as well. Yeah, next season we aren't going to turn into Barcelona, but maybe there will be a progression of sorts. And I mean, like I say, it's different people have different needs when it comes to what they want from their footballing experience. But for me, I've always loved being part of the journey. And the fact is, like, for a lot of us, you know, the journey isn't one season. The journey is the 40 years you've been watching Charlton, and it's a theatrical story that goes through ups and downs and different types of football, but you've been there for the ride. So I mean, it's interesting. I mean, like Andrew says, he goes for the football. I mean, that is obviously the main part of it, but there is the elements of it that come with it as well, the social elements, the seeing your mates, you know, going to away games and seeing different parts of the country that you might not see. I was way too excited yesterday in Oxford about the new bus route that goes straight to the ground. It took about half an hour off the journey, and I was like, I said to Kyle yesterday, I'm sure that wasn't there before. So I Googled when I got home the bus route. It's like, is this a new bus route? And it was. I felt really vindicated that I was like, I knew that was a new bus route. So maybe most people don't go for that, but there are different elements of it. James says, I like all types of football. Don't care as long as whatever style we choose, we do it really well. Chris says, if you want amazing football, you can pay 1,500 quid and support Arsenal if it's in your blood and you want to see your mates go get a season ticket. Yeah, I mean, like, I saw loads of really good comments in the chat with different views. As Andrew points out, Ben Garner, he says, Ben Garner and Nathan Jones are two extremities of styles. Yeah, I think that's fair. Definitely. As Ethan says, the football can be a tough watch, but we'd rather be in the champ. Let's see how we evolve. We've gone up and likely to stay up. That's all that matters. Right, let's hear it from yesterday's goal scorer, Charlie Kelman, not Charlie Kirk. I think so. As we heard in the Nathan Jones interview, there was a little sort of potential drop of a swear word which I beeped out. So I've had this problem before where I sent an interview back to the studio where Lee Bowyer had said the word bloody, and I thought that was fine, and I was like, no, you've really got to warn us. So I was like, well, even though he hasn't really said it, I'm just gonna text the studio and just so you know, on 44 seconds this has happened. So whilst I was still doing that, Charlie Kelman was brought out to speak to me. So I sort of said to Charlie at the start, just saying, oh, this is I'm getting called an anorak for the bus stuff, which I think is fair. Cheers, Dudley and James. I think that's fair. So when Charlie came out, I was texting the studio saying this is what happened with the Nathan interview. Just be careful. So I said to Charlie, I'm just texting this. And I sort of said as a joke, don't you swear in your interview. Anyway, this is my interview with Charlie Kelman. A really important point here today. How did you see the game?
Yeah, obviously we're disappointed because we wanted to come here and impose our style and, you know, be really front-footed, be really aggressive, but Oxford sat off. They have a game plan. It's worked for them in the last few games. We just wanted to stick it on and be a bit more aggressive. By the end of the day, if you said at the start of the week we get 7 points, I think a lot of people would have taken it. Yeah,
pressure penalty for yourself at the end, especially with the amount of time you had to wait before you could take it.
Yeah, my mate's in goal, Jamie. I knew what he was doing as soon as he went down. But look, I say this all the time, that's what I enjoy. I enjoy the booze. I enjoy it just does something to me. Like, I just love it. The pressure, just the enjoyment, just the what's the word I'm looking for when it's like
crunch,
just a bit like that excitement. I enjoy that, and yeah, buzzing when it went in.
When it's someone you know in goal as well, that add extra to it? Does he know your game well enough to know which way you might go or anything like that?
Yeah, 100%. He knew where I was going to go, but I'm going to put it there with a bit of pace, and thankfully it went in, and the last thing I remember I was in front of the away end, so now I'm buzzing. Thankful for the fans, obviously, for travelling. They followed us home and away all week. Buzzing for them, and we finish it off next week with one more big game.
And you went the right way, so it had to be a good penalty to get right in the bottom corner.
Yeah. Same. Well, to be fair, Brannigan went the same way, and he was giving me a bit before the penalty, so I thought I'd go that way as well. But no, I'm buzzing. That's what I enjoy doing, and many more to come, hopefully.
Yeah, and there's a big point, isn't it? I think off the back of this week, which has been such a good week, the last thing you wanted to do is come here and just give Oxford a little bit of ground.
Yeah, 100%. They're fighting for their lives. So it's obviously it's a tough place to come, but look, 7 points from
Tell me about your Penang training.
I had a penalty midweek in a sudden death shootout, and I tried to dink it down the middle, and Connor Cody took my head off. But I'd never do that in a game. But he said, if you're going to do it properly, do it properly, and I've done it properly today.
There we go. It was a scrappy game. I think Nathan Jones wasn't massively overawed with Charlton's performance in the first hour or so today. I mean, how did you see it? Obviously, you came on in the second half, but how did you see it overall?
Yeah, like I said, Gaffer demands such high standards, aggressiveness, front-footed. I mean, you guys know Gaffer longer than I have, and especially playing against his teams, you know, it's no let-up, it's on you, they stick it on you, they keep coming. So no, that's what we wanted to do. I felt like we let Oxford off a little bit today, allowed them to go into the game in spells, But look, the lads have been brilliant all week and all season. We find ourselves in a good position going into the last 8 games, I think it is. So look, we're happy. We'll take the point and move on to next week.
We're in a position maybe to change the narrative now about looking up rather than down. I think Nathan sort of said that during the week. I'm looking at, maybe 13th, top half, that sort of thing. Cheltenham have got themselves into such a good place now that maybe they can start talking about that.
Yeah, 100%. In football, I've come to learn as I've got older, never too high, never too low. It was only 2 weeks ago, people are like, oh, my days, like, we're going down, and then you win a couple and it's like, oh, Nathan Jones promotion chasing red. So it's tough, but look, you just got to find that medium ground, never too high, never too low. Just take every moment as it comes, be present, and I'm sure we can finish this season strong.
You're quite aware of that sort of stuff on social media. I remember your Mendonca celebration came off TikTok and that sort of stuff. You interested in what the fans say about stuff like that?
No. That just come off on my TikTok genuinely when I had that. But no, you see little bits. I get sent little bits on Instagram and stuff like that, or a few lads send it. Or my missus saw you've been lemoned by Charlie Kelman, so she sent me that to me. So no, I see little bits, but look, football is an emotional game. People spend their hard-earned money for it, and they have a right to an opinion. But look, us as footballers, we keep level-headed and finish the season strong.
I think it's 5 unbeaten on the road now as well, which at times this season hasn't been Cheltenham's forte. It's been more about the home form. But the last few weeks has shown the Addicts really sort of grinding towards those results away from home. What do you think has been the change there?
We're starting to evolve. The gaffer wants to be a bit more expansive, a bit more open, move the ball quicker, and I think that's reflected in our results. Going away to obviously Middlesbrough and getting a big win there, and being able to change. I mean, every championship game's different. That's what I'm starting to learn. So now we've been better in recent weeks, and hopefully that continues.
How much did the travel and all that take out of you coming back? And I was tired. I came back on Thursday as well.
No, I literally just moved into my new place, and then we've come away. So I went home on Thursday and all the stuff was there, so I was buzzing, so I didn't have to move anything in. But no, that's the life of a footballer. That's what we get paid to do. I'll never complain about that. I'm just happy to get a couple of goals this week.
Yeah, and one more Panenka between now and the end of the season.
No,
go on.
never any Panenka. Not after Connor Cody's ripping my head off. But no, buzzing. Thank you to the fans. Everyone get home safe. We'll see you next week.
I just asked about Connor actually, because if he plays today, it would have been his 500th appearance. I mean, to have an experienced character like him around the place, an England international, like we spoke to him during the week, like it must give everyone such a buzz to sort of learn of someone who's been there and done that like he has.
100%. You see his professionalism, the way he is around the place, the way he talks. And the best part about him is so down to earth. I sit there and ask him questions about Harry Kane, which I probably get battered for, but I pick his brains, and everyone picks his brains. He has an unbelievable wealth of experience. He's been there and done it, and he doesn't mention it often, but he's been to 2 major internationals. But now he's an unbelievable character, unbelievable guy, and it's a pleasure to be with him.
Harry Kane, someone you look up to, obviously someone else who's played games at Orient and scored goals for them.
Yeah, no, it's just in general. I think his sort of evolution going from League One to the Championship and then breaking through in the Premier League is something that I want to do, and obviously hopefully I can do that, but just try and learn off as many people as I can.
Brilliant. Cheers, Charlie.
Thank you very much.
Did you say when there we go, that's Charlie Kelman after yesterday's game. That's the first time I've ever had both the manager and the player swear in an interview, but yeah, I thought I was one of my favourite interviews of the season actually with Charlie there. Obviously Connor Cody getting involved, Nathan halfway through was quite funny with the Panenka stuff, but yeah, he speaks really well. We spoke to him last week as well after his goal against Birmingham, but yeah, learning a bit more about his character over the last couple of weeks, and plenty to like there, plenty of really interesting stuff.
Yeah, you see, he comes across as a nice geezer as well, doesn't he? So I like what he says about just taking each game as it comes, because I think that's what you need to do. Don't get involved with social media. I mean, if you're a footballer, if you're Tyrese Campbell, for example, God knows what you'd read each week from. Unbearable, wouldn't it? But no, he seems quite grounded and he seems quite confident. It's good that I know he looks up to Matty Godden as well. And yeah, I'm really happy for him. I mean, he got some stick from QPR and that, didn't he? Sort of randomly. He's just a kid trying to play football, mate. But yeah, no, really happy. He comes across as a nice geezer. Glad that he got a little F-bomb in as well. 2 in a day. It's absolutely what dreams are made of for you, isn't it?
Yeah, no, I had to. I had a lot of texts to send yesterday before I put any interviews out. Who was it? It's just said it there. Hang on. Ethan's just said, I think Kelman can only get better the more expansive we play, Ben. I mean, that is sort of, I could see that happening. Like as we start to create more chances, obviously we'd expect someone like Charlie Kelman to take more than someone like TC or some of the other strikers in the squad. I think that's fair. Like you can see him being part of the evolution of the squad when it comes. And I mean, it's 6 goals it's not an awful return considering he hasn't played as much as we probably would have wanted him to. He's had injuries, he's had time out, he hasn't started a great deal of games recently, so it's not been an awful return. He's targeted 10 this season, which I think is still doable as well.
Yeah, I think he will become better because I think if you look at yesterday, I got a little bit annoyed because I thought we did similar against Wrexham, where the last 10 minutes we just thought we're going to pump it in there every opportunity. And I thought that was bread and butter for them because their two centre-backs in Hellick and Brown were just like, thank you, heading it away until one of them decided to pull Lloyd Jones down. But I think, yeah, he's going to, as soon as we start to play down and work the ball forward a lot more and bring defenders out of play, it gives him more space to get in behind. And I mean, you take that Oxford goal, for example, at home. I mean, that was such a great finish and something we've all kind of been crying out for it in a striker, to just like one touch out your feet and fire in. I want to see more of that from him, but he's not getting those opportunities because of the way we're playing football at the moment. And look, who cares? I'm part of the whole thing of at this stage of the season, we just need to get results one way or another, however we want to play. And you have to adapt to different teams. Hence why we had 22% possession against Borough. And then like yesterday, we've had to play a different way against Oxford. But yeah, I love his attitude. I love the way in that interview he said how he just loves that pressure of picking up the ball yesterday against his mate. He had Brannigan in his ear saying, I know what way you're going to go and all of that. I love the way he's taken that pressure, fired the ball in the back of the net. And I think he is going to be a crucial player for us going forward. We know how he can score goals. He's taken some goals really well. Swansea goal at home, again, very good finish. But as I've been crying out as well, it's just trying to create those partnerships. You're going to see players getting better up front when they've got a regular partner up there that they can kind of thrive off. And I think him and Linden would work well. I know they did start against QPR. But yeah, we get that going. You can start to see players flourish. But yeah, no, really good interview. And I like the bit about Connor Cody you expanded on as well, because I think that's a big part of what's happened from January onwards, is that like his experience, his know-how. We saw it against Borough, just having a good change room and a good laugh like with players, hence why you enjoyed the interview there, because it's a bit more relaxed. Players are a bit more up for having a laugh, and you listen to players on podcasts and stuff talking about stories. The player, like, they thrive when you have a good change room, and yeah, Nathan has created that at the club, which is great to see.
Yeah, Isaac says, I think he's improved across the season. It's been start for him with injuries and being in and out of the team, and he's still trying to gel with the team and the style of football. A couple of people sort of talking about the comparison with Harry Kane. I think he spoke about Harry Kane rather than comparing himself with him, but obviously someone to try and look up to. Mark says 2 goals in 3 now. Kelman's a confidence player. Maybe time to start him, and I do suspect, and that I'd start him next week against Norwich rather than TC. I just think we've got to that sort of stage now where maybe it's time to do that and to have a look at sort of switching things up like that. Right, McSquared says it was an awful game between 2 poor attacking sides with very few chances at either end. You couldn't say that any player had a particularly bad game, but none had a great one. Although Lloyd Jones was his usual dependable self. Oxford's penalty was extremely soft, whilst ours was stonewall and confidently slotted away by Kelman. Ultimately, the right result, as neither side deserved to win. Dykes was definitely missed, and unsurprisingly, every player on the pitch looked a bit leggy at the end of such a busy week. The only thing that matters is Championship football is now pretty much guaranteed for next season. We should now kick on and see how high we can finish. And that's where I said it during the week, Nate. Like, let's change the conversation a little bit now. Let's look up the table. So we're 9 points above the drop zone. But we're only 3 points off the top half. There's a few sides between us in the top half, but I mean, I'm sort of targeting 13th, 14th, maybe top half. I mean, that's something to aim for now this season. Let's look up. We don't really need to look down as much now anymore.
Yeah, no, exactly. It starts again next week. So against Norwich, who are in and around us. So I think we've got to aim to try and finish top half. I mean, it might not happen, but if you said to us back in August that with a few games to go, you could be challenging top half of the table, I think everyone would have, not only your hand, would have taken everything off you. So I think we definitely should. I think now we've got to that point where we are now, definitely if it start to look up, and have a little bit more, be a little bit more relaxed in the stands. You know, like I know we can criticise on that, but relax a little bit. No need to, you know, think of your blood pressure. You know, so yeah, just relax a little bit, enjoy yourself, get behind the boys, and then let's see where it takes us.
Lovely stuff. Right, I am off to look up the bus timetable in Oxfordshire. Thanks for everyone who's joined us on the show this morning. Hope you've enjoyed it. We will be back on Thursday to look ahead to the Norwich game, so we'll catch up with you then. But as I said, for now, thanks for everyone who's joined us in the chat. Nathan, Ben, always a pleasure as always.
Cheers, gents.
Cheers, mate. Enjoy from train spotter to bus spotter.
Yeah, I can do it all, can't I? Lovely stuff. Right, this has been Charlton Live, sponsored by PSF Steel Limited. Don't forget to check out the merch store, charltonlive.ac.com, and subscribe to our YouTube channel so you never miss another show. Subscribe wherever you see the pod as well, so you can listen to the audio version when you're out and about as well. Right, I'm Louis Mendez. As I said, Charlton Live, sponsored by PSF Steel Limited. We'll see you again on Thursday.